All right, so 3 practical ways to get out of debt quick and in a hurry. Scratch it. There's no way to get out of debt quick and in a hurry. It takes time, it takes dedication, it takes patience, it takes consistency. There is no way that you can get out of debt quickly unless you have an excess of income. Then you can get out of debt, get out of debt quickly. You can. But if you're the average person, you don't have an excess of income, you have a whole lot of bills, and you need to figure out a way to get from point A to point B without losing yourself, losing your mind. So we're going to talk about 3 ways. So I present 3 ways to get out of debt in a fairly reasonable time frame without losing your mind. Number 1, budget. It's been said, I know, stick to a budget. Well, I can't seem to stick to a budget. Well, do you have any discipline? Do you have any, what are you lacking? Are you lacking, because there's 1 or 2 things when you have a budget and you can't stick to it. There are a couple of things that I have found out. Number 1 is that you lack self-discipline. And number 2 is that you are an impulsive person, which kind of both of those go hand in hand. But if you lack self-discipline, I say the solution to that is you have a budget, you have to stick to it. When it comes to the day-to-day things, because what typically kills your budget is not like, what typically kills your budget is impulse buys. Like you go to get gas and you go into the gas station and you buy $15, $20 worth of just stuff, or different things like that. You go into Target, instead of getting what you were, the 1 or 2 items, you get $200 worth of stuff that was not budgeted. I believe with 100% certainty, if that is your issue, this is what you need to do. Number 1 is when you create your budget and you have line item each thing out, food, gas, bills, so and so. Pay your bills first. The same day that you get paid, pay your bills. Now I have 200, 300, 400, 1,000, however much money left, and is allocated toward savings, food and gas, XYZ, maybe debt, paying off some debt. The number 1 thing is, after you've paid your bills, number 2 is any food or gas money that you have allocated for your budget, I want you to go to the ATM, take that money out, and that is your money for your food and gas for the next 2 weeks. Along with that, any cards that you have, you do not take them outside of your house with you. Go even further. Put them in a cup of water, put that water in the freezer, and freeze all of those cards. Some people say cut your cards. I mean, if you really want to be disciplined and go there, I 100% believe you should cut your cards. Cut them up. Get them out. The Bible says that if your eye causes you to sin, cut it out. If your hand, if your cards, cut it out. So I 100% believe, but you can do that, but you don't have to go that far. Putting them in water and freezing them is also a very intentional act of, I will not spend money compulsively. I will not have compulsive buys. I will stick to my budget, and it's an outward sign that you will do that. Okay, so if discipline is your issue for not sticking to your budget, number 1, pay your bills when you get paid. Number 2, these are very practical things. I'm telling you, if you do these, they work. Like, number 1, pay your bills. Number 2, go get the cash for your food, gas, miscellaneous. And number 3, take your cards out of your wallet, out of your purse, leave them at home. Never leave with cards. You only have that cash And if you find that you spend all of your cash in one sitting, then we have a whole different issue. But start there, okay? Now, that can also go to the other reason why you can't stick to the budget, which is because you impulse buy at every chance you get, which leads back to discipline. You're undisciplined. You're undisciplined. A lot of things in life leads to discipline. I mean, you know, that goes without saying. But in order to get from point A to point B, which is where you want to be, you have to implement certain habits into your day-to-day life as it relates to money, as it relates to what you are, how are you buying, what are you doing, and so forth. So, how to get out of debt, not fast, but fairly reasonable, with a fairly reasonable time frame. Okay? Because you're going to need to practice this. I believe that if you practice this for at least 3 to 6 months consistently, the 7th month of you budgeting, sticking to your budget, it's actually not even 7 months. After about the 3rd, 4th month, you feel more comfortable. You have gotten over being pissed off that you can't just spend how you want to because you're trying to go from where you are to where you want to be financially with money. And that's from being broke to being financially sound and stable. And then we go from there to being financially free. But I would say that if you, practical ways of going from irresponsibility with money to soundness.